everyone. Doug Thompson here from Bottom Line University and the Impact Initiative program. Today, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the seduction of when somebody says to you that they're going to do a number of different things that are going to create you to not move forward in actually getting the home sold, such as maybe they said they want to wait, or they want to have a lower commission, or they want to buy before they sell, or there's a numerous number of ones that they could give you today, just as an example, and how you're going to handle that. And you're going to handle that by the power of the ProCon analysis. And that's what we're going to demonstrate today. So thank you for being here, and let's get started. So as always, we're right at the very beginning of our presentation, and we're ready to get started. And we're already gone through our presentation, and we're starting out, of course, at the first slide. Now, our introduction has came through. We've completed that. We went ahead and talked about our process. We went ahead now, and we have now delivered understanding our concerns. And then we came to the second page of understanding our concerns. And we know that this question at the bottom here, this is the money question, gang, for you guys. What would it take to get your home listed with me today? And at this point, the customer unleashes on you a whole bunch of different things that could be problems that you need to be deal with, such as some of the ones we mentioned, or maybe even just as simple as one that could be like, I have a friend in the business. Okay. Or commission, or any of the other ones that might come up. Now, how are you going to handle that? Well, first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to write them all down. Doesn't matter whether there's one or there's 10. We're going to just make a note on our talking pad for each individual one and say, okay, that's great. And is there anything else that's going to hold you back? Always remember, as they're giving you those extra seductions, you have to ask that question at the end. Is there anything else? Because when they say no to that, then you know that you've got them all, and now you're good to go. So now, again, as we've always said, you're going to use the set it aside technique at this point in time, and you're not going to go ahead and try to handle these seductions right now. You're going to move forward with your presentation to show them a whole bunch of value, so that hopefully some of them will disappear off of your page before you even have to handle them. But at the end, when you get down to the last part, then that's when you're going to find out what else you have to deal with. Fair enough? Okay, good enough. So you've used the set it aside technique. They said it's okay, and you're going to proceed. So you're ready. So you're going to continue on. You're going to analyze the property, of course. You're going to go ahead and talk about your customized marketing plan. You're going to talk about your company and all the points within your company. You're going to talk about your, of course, customized marketing plan and all the bullets that you're going to cover off within your presentation there too. And then you're going to, of course, talk about yourself and all the things that are important to you there. And you're going to get through all of those. And while you're doing that, of course, what are you doing? You're building a whole bunch of value, right? So that when you get to this point right here and you're ready to ask the power question, which is what? The third closing question that you're going to ask during the whole presentation, as to the fact that you're going to totally ask for the order now. And in this question, it's going to be what? If you're okay with my company, my marketing plan, and me, and assuming we could agree on a price, would you list your home with me today? And this is when any of those hesitations or seductions that we talked about earlier are going to come up. This is when they're going to come up again. So as an example today, let's just say that they come up with the one that says that, well, they have a friend in the business. Or let's say that they want to get a lesser commission. So there's two that we're going to deal with. The rest of them, whatever it was, they were happy with, and you've went through the list and you've crossed those ones off. And these two are the ones that are standing out, right? Friend in the business and extra commission off. So what are you going to do? How are you going to handle that? So as an example of something that we can use, we're going to use the pro-con analysis. Now, of course, you're going to say, what's the pro-con analysis? As the same as they're going to say that. So we're going to go ahead and demonstrate that to you now. So Mr. and Mrs. Seller, are you familiar with the pro-con analysis? No, what's that? Well, it's an overview of the pros and the cons of why a person should go forward or not go forward with the situation as it's been laid out to them today. So let's go ahead and have a look at that, if you wouldn't mind. Yes. Okay. Now, if we can show you beyond a shadow of a doubt that maybe it's not the right thing for you to do, to consider to want to have a lesser commission, or to consider to go ahead with your friend or your relative as far as putting it on the market, would you consider to actually do that? You might. Okay, fantastic. Let's have a look at it. Okay, once again, gang, we're up to the hot buttons and we're dropping down. We're going down to the pro-con analysis, and we're seeing it. We're clicking on the pro-con analysis and we're showing the demonstration that's here. Now, how do we deal with this, or how do we work with this? Now we look at the pros. The pros are the pros to them, to why they would do what they want to do, or why they would want to do with what they're thinking. As an example, they want to list with their family member, right? They want to list with their family member for all the different reasons, right? That maybe they like them, or maybe they're sort of okay at the real estate business. But I want you to think about this for 1 minute, gang. Would you be there today all the way to this point doing the listing presentation if they really wanted to list with their family member? Probably not. Why? Because there's something going on. There's something wrong to why you're there in the first place, because otherwise they would have just trusted the family member and they would have went ahead and listed it. So we need to figure out what it is it that's going to, that's making them want us to be here. So we're going to go ahead on our talking pad and we're going to draw this analysis. So we're going to put a line across the top, a line down the middle, and write pros on the left, cons on the right. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to say, okay, now think about this for a second. You had said that you wanted to possibly put your home on the market with your family friend or your relatives, right? Okay, good. So let me go ahead and write that here. Good enough? Okay, great. Now let's look at the other side. So if you did that and you actually put your home on the market with your family or friend, I guess that's possible. But let's look at the cons to that. What would be the reasons that you maybe might not want to do that? What do you think that would be? And then let them tell you, gang, what it is, the reasons that they might not actually want to do that. And they might open up and they might not. So you might need to fish it out of them or dig it out of them as to why they're thinking that way in the first place. Fair enough? Now you get through that one and you deal with that one. Now you go to the next one. And then the next one we said was commission. So now you're going to write commission down under where? Of course, you're going to put it under the pros. Yes. And you're going to now decide how to deal with that. So again, what would be the cons if you had a lesser commission? Is there any? I promise you, they're going to say no. There's no negatives to that. So whose job is it now for you to show them the negatives to them having your lesser commission? Well, it's yours, of course. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to just give you a couple different examples of why it might be good for them to not consider to go with a lesser commission. Fair enough? So let's just do that now really quickly. So you get a 1-2 punch. You get shown how to handle the ProCon analysis and a couple commission cutting tools at the same time. Fair enough? Okay, good. So the first one we're going to deal with is we're going to say it's the U commission close. So what that one is this. Okay, so on the con side, you would write a drawing of 3 separate houses, 2 lines with a line and up top to show like a roof, right? And so 3 houses you're going to build. You're going to put a commission in the middle. One would be, say, 4%, 2 of them 5%. I don't know what the commission is in your area, but the one is slightly lower than the other 2. Okay, good. Now, the analogy that we have to look at here is we have to get the customer to realize that they have asked for the lower commission. But what we're going to do is we're going to ask them to change chairs with us for a minute. They're going to be the real estate agent. You're going to be the seller. And so let's think about that for a minute. So they've changed hats, right? So now they're the realtor and you're the seller. So now let's ask the question. If you, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, or in this case, realtor, wanted to sell their home, but if you now had one buyer and one buyer only that you're going to be able to sell a home to over the next 6 months, because that happens, and you were definitely out there and you knew they'd buy a house from you, and there was 3 homes to show, and you were the one that was going to show these homes to these people, and one of the homes was listed at 4%, another one was listed at 5%, and another one was listed at 5%. Which home, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, would you, now you're the realtor, remember, which one would you not show, or which one would you not sell if you had a choice? Be honest. Notice I'm quiet. I'm waiting for them to say, because they're going to say the 4% house. Why? Because they don't want to make less what? Money, right? So notice they put themselves now into a bit of a bind, right? So you're going to say to them, well, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, as you can see, you've just demonstrated to yourself why it might not be smart for you to have a lesser commission on your own home, right? Very true. Now, the key behind this demonstration, gang, is we got to remember is that we cannot, let me say that again, we cannot say that we as real estate agents would rather sell the 5 and the 5 than we would the 4. Because if we do that, now we look like greedy what? You know what I'm thinking about. And then they think that, we don't want to work with you anyways. So now you lose, okay? Remember, they got to change hats, they got to change positions, and they got to remember you is how you demonstrate that. Fair enough? Okay, that's one. Now, another one is this. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, let me think about this. Now, you said you want a lesser commission. Why? Because Sally up the street said she'd do it for less, right? Okay, well, that's fine. Let me ask you this question. If Sally up the street is so quick to give away her money, how quick do you think she's going to be to give away yours? And then be quiet. That's a quick analogy, gang, of how to use the ProCon analysis. And I'm sure that if you think about it, you'll have several different ways that you could use it yourself down the road. Works really good with your kids and really good with your family also. So keep in mind, thank you very much and have a great day. Bye-bye now.